a natural health store in Cherokee, and I opened that in 2007. And I'm a colon hydrotherapist of 31 years, so I cleanse colons, which a lot of people go, ooh, I don't think I want to do that. And I have no idea how I ended up there, but I would say it was probably a God thing. So 31 years of that, and knowing that you know, God has just given me a pulpit in a room with a table. And I have a captive audience, so. But I'm very open and very bold in my faith, and I believe that's very important. You know, we're talking about, you know, being warmed from this really Arctic vortex that's been hitting us. But, you know, we don't usually want to go outside when it's this cold outside, which is probably very wise not to go outside in this kind of below zero temperatures. But when, you know, the message of that devotional was that we need to spend time with Jesus. And I really believe that, especially now, more than any time before in our lives, it's really time to very precisely focus our lives to following Christ, and each day getting up, Lord, what would you have me do today? How can I serve you today, Lord? You know, direct my steps, direct my words, and allow me to make a difference in somebody's life, and allow my light to shine into their life. Because, you know, in the devotional it talked about love and peace, and what a wonder that Jesus Christ is, and that I don't think that many of us have really entered into the depth of the wonder of Jesus Christ, and that each one of us would understand what Christ did on that cross. And when I was 16 years old, I was with a friend. It was a Friday night, and I thought, you know, how did this happen? I don't know. We ended up at a church that was having a camp meeting type of service, and they were, you know, fire and brimstoning it really good. And she and I sat in the back row, and I found myself at the altar and giving my life to Christ. And they took me in the back, and they shared a couple of scriptures with me so that I would understand better what I did. And I was only 16 years old, and I actually graduated from high school when I was 17, so I went home, and I was so on fire, and I said to my parents, I'm like, I just received Jesus tonight, I'm born again. And they just kind of stepped back and went, now don't get too weird and crazy on us. You know, so, but then I went to college, and I always felt God's hand on my shoulder, but I did not understand the scriptures, the message of the cross, and what that meant to me. You know, okay, so, you know, Jesus died on a cross, why did he do that? How does that pertain to me? And so, but I'm still feeling him with his hand on my shoulder. I'm going to college. I'm living for the world. Got a few things I won't tell you about. And then, so then we went on, you know, to living our lives the way we think we should live our lives. The way, you know, and I was a music major, so I really wanted to be in performing arts. I really didn't want to teach, although I was taking an education major. But I really wanted to perform, and so long story short, I went and hit the road and was with several different bands, traveled around the United States, and met my husband in a bar. And spotted him all the way across the room, was checking him out, he was looking good. So, and back then, you know, the afro was in, you know, and he had a natural afro that was out to here. Here it is. Of course, back then I poofed my hair a little more, so I was looking like I was kind of competing with him. So, but the time that he met me, when I was on the stage, I had a wig, you know, it was a long wig, and false eyelashes, and, you know, false hair, false, you know, a few other things. And so there was nothing real about this girl. And so he and I just knew right away that, you know, this could be the one for me. And we had a very short courtship, and we were married in 6 months, and he took me home to the farm, and I'm the city girl, and I thought, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to be a farmer? He has a picture of me with my head in the septic when he was cleaning out the septic, and I was wearing the long coveralls, and it didn't look anything like me with the eyelashes and the wig, and So, but anyway, the Lord just grabbed a hold of me a few years after our marriage, and I wanted to know and understand, because I felt it, I felt Him in my heart. We were starting to have children. We were attending our church regularly, and we just really wanted a foundation for our children. And so I really started seeking to understand who Christ was and what He did for us. And it just completely turned my life upside down. We were having marriage problems. There was all kinds of, challenges going on in my life. And when Christ, exploded on the inside of me, because I really sought Him out for that. When that happened, it changed my personality. It changed everything about me. I just saw everything differently. We see through His eyes. And so, but He's waiting at the door and knocking and saying, spend more time with me. Spend more time with me. And I have never looked back. I think when I first got on fire for Jesus, my husband thought it was some new fad and that I was going to fizzle out after a while, but it didn't happen. And he was reaping all the benefits, so he was really, looking at me like, wonder what happened to her. And consequently, he gave his life to Christ, and I was able to lead him into that personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And over the years, he has gradually come to understand, how deep that relationship can be. And we have such an incredible assurance from Him that, He's always there. He's always wants to be a part of our lives. And, just a loving passion that He has for us. And He says, if you love me, you'll serve me. You'll not just go to church or, just talk amongst yourselves, but we have to get outside our circle to where the darkness is, where the lost are. And we need to let that light shine out in that darkness. And now more than ever. Because as we know, there is nothing but darkness coming through the TV set, the magazines, the internet, everything. Everything's been bad news. But Jesus says He's good news. He's the gospel. And He has commissioned us. We're His hands and His feet. And He's the head. So as we connect with Him, He gives us our marching orders. So, and it's always good. It's always good. Let me do this next one.